46 days. Let that number sink in for a second. It has been exactly 46 agonizing days, over 1,100 hours, since an 84-year-old mother and grandmother, Nancy Guthrie, was ripped from the safety of her own home and swallowed by the unforgiving Arizona desert. But as the desperate search for Nancy grows colder by the minute, the true nightmare is just beginning. And it is not happening out in the sand. Right now, an unprecedented explosive crisis is unfolding behind the locked doors of the Pima County Sheriff's Department. The very man leading the hunt for Nancy is now fighting a brutal war for his own political survival. Today, I am exposing the bombshell, behind-the-scenes reality that is tearing this investigation apart from the inside out. We finally have the real reason Annie Guthrie's car was hidden away from the public for 40 agonizing days, and I promise you, it changes the entire narrative of this case. We have chilling new FBI analysis about the kidnapper's fatal, disgusting mistake involving a bite light and a trail of DNA left right at the crime scene. And most importantly, we are breaking down the relentless, organized public effort to officially remove Sheriff Nanos from power. Are they hiding massive mistakes to save their careers? Or is this political civil war destroying our only chance of bringing Nancy home? You cannot afford to look away from this. To truly understand the sheer panic and paralysis surrounding this investigation right now, you have to look directly at the man at the top, Sheriff Chris Nanos. The public outrage in Tucson has moved past internet rumors. It has reached a terrifying boiling point. An official, legally binding recall effort has just been launched against him. This is not a drill. The citizens of Pima County have exactly 120 days to gather a staggering 120,000 signatures. To put that into perspective, that is roughly 25% of the total votes cast in the entire 2024 election. Their ultimate goal? To permanently strip Sheriff Nanos of his badge, rip him from his office, and force him out of law enforcement immediately. But here is the dark, hidden secret that the mainstream media is completely ignoring. This department was already eating itself alive. When I was on the ground in Tucson, the tension was absolutely suffocating. Long before Nancy Guthrie ever vanished into the night, the vast majority of the sheriff's own rank-and-file deputies had already issued a devastating, highly publicized vote of no confidence against him. Think about what that means. The men and women putting their lives on the line every single day did not trust their own leader. The environment was so incredibly toxic that deputies were reportedly wearing face masks while in uniform just to protest him without facing immediate retaliation or being fired. And if you dig into his past, host leans closer to the camera, lowering their voice. It gets so much worse. Investigative reporters have dug up his old discipline file from 30 years ago when he worked for the El Paso Police Department in Texas. We are talking about serious, documented infractions. We are talking about a record that notes he left the job while pending a firing. There are even major questions swirling about discrepancies in his resume regarding the years he served. Now, take a man with that kind of fractured history. Put him in charge of the absolute highest profile, most heavily scrutinized kidnapping case in the history of Arizona. Add a grieving family, an aggressive national media, and a furious public demanding answers. It is a recipe for an absolute, unmitigated disaster. The sheriff claims he won his election fair and square, stating that the recall is simply the right of the people. But the people are asking, is his toxic leadership actively sabotaging the hunt for Nancy? The drama was inevitable, and now it has officially exploded. If you want to know exactly why the public is completely losing faith in this investigation, look no further than the shocking deception surrounding Annie and Tommaso's car. For weeks, the sheriff's department allowed the public to absolutely tear Nancy's family to shreds. They seized the vehicle belonging to Nancy's daughter and son-in-law, and they held it in a secure, undisclosed facility for 40 excruciating days. During that time, the silence from law enforcement was deafening. The true crime community and the internet went completely wild. Everyone assumed this was exactly like the Brian Kohberger case in Idaho. We all pictured forensic teams in hazmat suits, ripping out the seats, tearing off the steering wheel, and hunting for microscopic drops of blood hidden deep in the trunk. The absolute refusal of the sheriff's office to clarify the situation allowed vicious, life-ruining rumors to spread like wildfire. They let a young boy, Annie and Tommaso's son, go to school every day while the whole world pointed fingers at his parents, accusing them of the unthinkable. But my insider sources just leaked the real, horrifying truth about that car. They didn't keep that vehicle for 40 days because they found a gruesome crime scene inside. They kept it because they completely broke it. When the investigators attempted to extract and download the electronic data from the car's complex infotainment system, they didn't just fail, they triggered a catastrophic system failure. They completely destroyed the entire digital mesh network of the dashboard. It was an irreparable, embarrassing technical nightmare. Instead of coming clean, the sheriff's office had to quietly, secretly transport the car to a local dealership. They had to order an entirely new internal system, wait weeks for the parts to arrive from the manufacturer, and sit there while mechanics fixed the massive damage the police themselves had caused. Let that sink in. They let the public destroy a grieving family's reputation for over a month when they could have simply stepped up to a microphone and admitted it was a technical error. It was a cover-up of their own incompetence. And if they are willing to hide a broken radio system for 40 days to save face, you have to ask yourself the most terrifying question of all. What else are they hiding from us? What other massive mistakes have been swept under the rug while Nancy is out there in the desert? While the department fights its petty political battles and hides its broken evidence, the FBI has been quietly uncovering a terrifying, sinister reality about the monster who took Nancy. I sat down with my good friend, retired FBI agent Maureen O'Connell, and her expert analysis reveals a predator who was hunting in the shadows long before the night of the kidnapping. Federal agents have been knocking on doors throughout Nancy's quiet neighborhood, demanding security footage specifically from two exact dates: Saturday, January 11th, and Saturday, January 24th. These were the consecutive weekends leading directly up to the abduction. Do you know what that means? Host points directly at the camera, looking enraged. This was not a random burglary gone wrong. This was not a crime of opportunity. The suspect was conducting meticulous, terrifying dry runs. He was stalking her. He was sitting outside her house in the dead of night on Saturdays, watching her lights turn on and off. He was tracking her nightly routine. He was waiting to see if she stayed up late watching TV, and more importantly, he was watching to see if anyone came to stay with her over the weekend. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he knew exactly when she was most vulnerable. But the terror doesn't stop there. We have to talk about how he actually got inside. The neighbors have discussed the heavy metal mesh security doors common in Arizona, doors designed to let the breeze in while keeping intruders out. Maureen O'Connell made it very clear, breaching those doors is a nightmare. In law enforcement, they sometimes have to hook those doors up to a winch on a heavy truck just to rip them off their hinges. It makes an ungodly amount of noise. It wakes up the whole neighborhood. So how did this phantom slip inside without waking Nancy or the neighbors? Was the door left unlocked? In an era where 84-year-old women living alone are highly security conscious, that seems impossible. Did he slip through the sliding glass door in the back that leads directly into her bedroom? Did she leave it open just a crack for her dog? The thought of this masked predator silently sliding that glass door open in the dead of night, stepping into the sanctity of her bedroom, is enough to make your blood run cold. But despite all this calculated stalking and silent entry, this mastermind made one fatal, highly disgusting mistake. As the investigation seemingly stalls and the details become more horrifying, the emotional and psychological toll on the family is becoming absolutely unbearable. The public reaction has devolved into an uncontrollable, chaotic media circus. At the center of this storm is Nancy's daughter, Savannah Guthrie. As a veteran, high-profile anchor for NBC's Today Show, Savannah has spent her entire career reporting from the front lines of horrific crimes. She has been the journalist standing outside the yellow police tape, asking the hard, relentless questions to grieving families. Now, in a cruel, heartbreaking twist of fate, she is living the nightmare on the other side of the camera. Reports are leaking out that she is utterly furious, and rightfully so, over the baseless, toxic allegations hurled at her family by internet sleuths. And then there is her brother, the former fighter pilot. He is a stoic, quiet warrior who spent his life going into battle to defend innocent people. To see a man of that caliber, who looks so much like his late father, forced to make a deeply uncomfortable, desperate plea on video for the return of his mother, it breaks your heart. His mother made it to 84 years old, surviving the loss of her husband, raising 3 kids as a single mom, only to have her golden years shattered by a monster in the night. But the public has no boundaries. The true crime community's obsession has crossed the line into harassment. Just days ago, independent streamers armed with cell phones were broadcasting live right outside Tommaso and Annie's front door. The harassment reached such a fever pitch that Tommaso physically came out of his house, visibly agitated, confronting the cameras. He had reached his absolute breaking point. The public is completely divided. Half the internet is demanding justice and supporting the family, while the other half is consumed by wild conspiracy theories, pointing fingers at everyone in Nancy's inner circle. And all of this chaos, all of this division, falls squarely on the shoulders of Sheriff Nanos. His inability to control the narrative, his failure to provide transparent updates, has allowed this circus to thrive. The backlash is deafening, and it is fueling the recall effort by the hour. With all the political drama and public hysteria, you might think the police have absolutely nothing to go on. But you would be dead wrong. Prepare yourself, because this final revelation is going to make you sick to your stomach. We have all seen that chilling, nightmare-inducing image. The kidnapper looking up at the Nest camera, his cold eyes visible through the balaclava, with a bite light, a small, tactical flashlight clenched tightly between his teeth. But Agent O'Connell pointed out a massive, undeniable biological reality. There is no humanly possible way he kept that flashlight in his mouth for the entire 41 minutes he was inside Nancy's home. Try it yourself. Put a piece of plastic in your mouth and hold it there. Within seconds, your mouth will instantly fill with saliva. It is a natural physical reaction. He had to take it out. He had to take it out to breathe properly, to issue terrifying commands to Nancy, and to physically use his hands to turn on the lights. The exact second he pulled that flashlight from his teeth and shoved it into his pocket, his hand was covered in his own DNA-rich saliva. Think about the crime scene. If he touched the front doorknob with that hand, if he grabbed the security camera mount to adjust it, if he brushed against the curtain in Nancy's bedroom, he left a genetic goldmine right there in the open. And it gets even crazier. Agent O'Connell was completely baffled as to why investigators inexplicably left the front door rug at the crime scene. A rug is literally designed to aggressively scrape debris, hairs, and evidence off the bottom of a suspect's boots. They should have tap-lifted that entire rug. They should have swabbed it into a checkerboard pattern. If they have his saliva on the door, and if they have the debris from his boots, why is there no arrest? Are we looking at a highly complex forensic genetic genealogy case, like the Corey Richins case that took a full year to build before an arrest was made? Or, in the chaos of the Sheriff's Department's civil war, did the crime scene investigators completely botch the evidence collection? The DNA is out there. The monster is out there. But as the days tick by, the horrifying reality of the vast, endless Arizona desert sets in. There are a million places to hide a secret in that sand. The desert is vast. The political secrets in Pima County run terrifyingly deep, and the clock is running out for Nancy Guthrie. If the public successfully gathers those 120,000 signatures, we could see the lead investigator completely ousted and replaced right in the middle of a massive, active manhunt. This case is hanging by a microscopic thread of DNA, and the people in charge are fighting for their jobs instead of fighting for Nancy. I am not letting this go. I am going to keep digging into this DNA evidence. I am tracking the exact movements of that car, and I am watching this sheriff recall effort every single day. But I need to hear from you. Sound off in the comments right now. Do you think Sheriff Nanos is intentionally hiding major evidence to protect his failing reputation? Or is the furious public actually destroying the investigation by forcing him out? Who is really to blame for this 46-day failure? If you want the raw, unfiltered, and unapologetic truth about the Nancy Guthrie case, you need to hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the notification bell. You do not want to miss my next update because the walls are closing in, and I promise you, another massive twist is coming. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.